Good afternoon, people.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the AstroLOVE podcast. Today is Sunday, the 19th of...
No, it's the 20th.
Oh, sorry. Oh my gosh, Mercury Retrograde. Today is Sunday, the 20th of August. The time is 3:31 p.m. And you are with Angel Love and
Astro Queen.
Yes, so welcome to the 4.2 episode
Yeah.
of the AstroLOVE podcast, and we're laughing.
Yeah, we're laughing.
Joke.
Yeah. Inside joke. But yeah, 4.2. Yeah.
So today we've got lots going on. We're going to talk about the Mercury Retrograde, a little bit about our experience of the Venus Retrograde. We're going to talk about like the retrogrades coming up, just a little bit about the retrogrades coming up. We're going to look at Beyonce's chart a little bit.
Mm-hmm. For the obvious reasons.
It's Virgo season. And obviously Michael Jackson, the two greats. We're going to talk a little bit about the water houses and the full moon coming up in Pisces. So we've got a jam-packed episode for you.
Mm-hmm.
So just before we begin, I want to say happy birthday, Virgos.
Happy birthday, Virgos. Happy birthday to you, Angela.
I know, it's my birthday.
Yeah, on the 25th.
25th.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say happy shout out to Faye, because she's Virgo as well.
Yeah, happy birthday.
So to Faye.
And also this episode is for Yvette, only because she was so stunned and so like amazing. Not that everybody was, but she was so shocked, but like pleasantly shocked at the piece of work that we presented in our last podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, so I promised her that this is for her, but it's actually for everybody.
Yeah.
It's for all our people.
Definitely. And we just want to welcome everyone. Virgo season starts on the 23rd of August.
Mm-hmm.
But
Until the
also,
September the 23rd.
Yes, but also Mercury Retrograde starts on the same day. So this is going to be a strong one, people.
Mm-hmm.
It's in its own sign. So everyone, get ready. We'll talk about the retrograde coming up in a bit. So we'll advise you on tips, do's and don'ts for that particular season.
Yes.
So we're coming out of Leo season. We're not quite in the Virgo season yet. So.
No, we're not. We're still in a Leo season. The room is set up in a very Leo fashion because we've just had
sunflowers.
We've
got some crystals there.
We had a candle. A red candle that's just burnt out.
Yeah.
But I'm wearing yellow as well.
You are?
Yeah. We've just had a new moon in Leo. We spoke about that in our last podcast. We gave tips on rituals as well for the ritual for new moon in Leo. But this is a very strong one that's just gone. I think it was on the 16th.
Yes, it was.
It was on the 16th. I haven't done my ritual yet, but I plan to do it today.
I haven't done my ritual yet. I don't know how I forgot, but I have. I think it's that Saturn opposing my sun.
It's slowing you down.
Slowing me right down.
It's slowing you down. It's giving you like, listen, you have to slow down, boundaries, restrictions, and maybe you're preoccupied with that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do it today. It's a strong one because Uranus is squaring this particular new moon. So it's giving it lots of energy, lots of potency, and lots of opportunity for like great change. So I want to utilize that energy. But yeah, I think for me, in terms of the Leo season, it's been really good. I mentioned it to you earlier that Drew and I have been celebrating practically every day. It's become,
and what have you been celebrating with?
It's become a running joke, I'm telling you. Basically, for example, if we're doing something for one another, like if he washes up when I'm supposed to be doing it, I would be like, oh my God, thank you so much. Give him like, really exaggerate the thanks and the gratitude.
Okay.
And I think that's because also we're both Leo moons. So he was the one that actually brought it up in the conversation the other day. He was just like, listen, when I do things for you, I don't know why, but I really expect this huge extravagant thanks. But I know it's not even necessary. But why am I thinking that way? And I'm like, it's your Leo moon. It's Leo sun. We're still in that season. It's just an excuse and a reason to celebrate. So we've been having lots of wine lately.
Nice.
And literally celebrating in that way, but also like talking about gratitude and being grateful for who we are. And I've noticed as well my confidence building. I've had some with Saturn conjunct my sun. I think it's dimmed my light a little bit. So this has given me a bit of a boost in my confidence. So that's really cool. So so what we did say for the Leo season, in terms of the affirmations, we're going to try and give a affirmation for every podcast, or at least a couple, depending on what's going on in the heavens. But the affirmation for the Sun season, or the Leo season, is I am who I am. Was it? Do you remember, actually?
I cannot remember.
No, I celebrate myself.
Yes.
I celebrate myself.
Yeah.
So we've got another 3 days until it's over. But meanwhile, I celebrate myself. If you haven't done your Leo, new moon in Leo ritual, maybe bear that in mind. How can you celebrate yourself? How can you kind of build on yourself, build on your confidence, your sense of who you are, your individuality in this world, and how you can really shine bright in terms of...
Absolutely. It's very important to celebrate yourself. So... definitely do a ritual to celebrate, or go out, or do something
and get the last kind of doses of sun. This sun is
bright sunny day today as well.
And I think that that's another thing as well. I've been trying to take some sun, because the sun, our autumns and our winters here, they don't exist.
It's getting dark.
Sun
again.
does not exist. So it's starting to dim down. So But whilst we're kind of weaning away from the Leo season, we kind of can't go into the Virgo season. Your season.
My season, my favourite season.
Yeah, I'm starting to really appreciate Virgo season, because I need it. It's grounding. But go.
Yeah, I guess when you think about it, they all lead into one another. Like Leo is the hype, the happiness, having fun, all that kind of stuff. But then all good things come to an end.
They do.
And
the fun stops.
Yeah, we've got to slow down a little bit and ground ourselves, because all that hype and energy, we're going to wear ourselves out. So with the Virgo, it's time to replenish ourselves in that earth. Meditation, research, all the practical stuff. We've done all the fun, we've forgotten about everything else, but we've got to come back to it. We live in reality. We're still going to have fun, but we're going to prep ourselves for that.
And it's much more organized. Yeah, it's much more organized. And interestingly, like, as we wean away from the summer, we start to see like notebooks and pens, and getting back to schools, diaries,
exactly.
Organizers. Exactly. Like, we're all prepping to go back to work, back to school. And even though in a mundane sense it's useful, but it really highlights and reflects what's going on in the heavens. Like, the sun is now waning away from Leo season and going into Virgo, where we need to really apply some routine.
Exactly,
and
get back into it. So it makes perfect sense, doesn't it? So what I should have started off with is a little quote that I had.
We failed. But does it go? You go.
We can still put that in, don't worry.
Go.
Because it matches. It works.
Fits.
Yeah,
okay.
Fits. So the quote is, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside wakes. And it's about knowing yourself. It's about what our podcast is about. It's about getting to know who you are, getting to know about your birth chart, your planets, actually getting real with yourself, like knowing your temperament, knowing what you feel about certain things, your attitudes, changes you need to make, the dark side of yourself as well. Looking at that and kind of looking within and saying, okay, well, these are the parts of myself I don't really like. What can I do to change that? So I love that. I just think it's just short, fit. Sharp, simple, but powerful. Packs a punch.
It does, and it fits in the Virgo element, because Virgo is about mind and body and really joining the two together. And like, because Virgo is to do with cleansing and detoxing, and also seeking perfection. Health. Yeah. So like, in order to kind of tap into that world within ourselves, we have to be critical and we have to analyze, and these are key words for Virgo, isn't it? So in terms of that quote was very like healing orientated, and that's what Virgo is how can we heal, how can we be of service to others to help heal, or to make things function and work.
And what also comes to mind is tidy minds, tidy home, tidy minds. And we are actually going through the Venus retrograde. It's time to declutter, going into that like Virgo season as well. So it's kind of like all working together. So hopefully everyone's decluttering, whether it is the house, clothing, things that you don't need, your mind, helping yourself to overcome certain issues.
Mm.
Let's do this. So with that Virgo energy, I guess Virgos are like hardworking, very loyal.
There's an innocence about, or a naivety about the Virgo. I think maybe that might be a more nuanced energy, but despite that though, they're very good at making things function, making things work, and
helpful, being of service.
And in order to do that, they've got a lot of focus. They're able to really hone in on a project, for example, or a piece of work, homework, whatever the assignment is. Trust the Virgo to just get it done.
We're the research people, you know. We like to research. We like to know how everything works. This goes together. Okay, why is this here? Why is that there? So we're just like those people that are very inquisitive and want to know what's going on.
You have the answers.
Exactly. We like to have the answers. So with that, Virgos being very hardworking, wanting to be helpful. Good. They want to see people be successful, like their friends, so they'll always be supportive. If you've got Virgo friends, then maybe you can see those type of traits in them.
Yeah, true. And also they can apply if you welcome it, their analytical approach, because they can have almost like a bird's eye view, but in a very detailed way about what's going on and how to kind of fix it and put the pieces together so it works. And every time we talk about Virgo, I cannot help but talk about or think about Beyonce, but we could talk about it in a minute because it's just so classic. But also in terms of like health, you know,
Virgo rules the intestines, isn't it?
The intestines,
stomach area. So
exactly.
Your gut flora. That's all. I think your third brain is in your gut, right? So that's something that's, you need to take care of. And
that gut brain is linked to your emotions as well. So great time again to detox. Use that Virgo season to detox, to cleanse, to eat more earthy foods, which is something I need to do because I've been slacking on
eat
that.
Eat with the seasons if you can.
Eat with the seasons. I've been drinking with the season, bro.
That's Leo. You're allowed to. It's
I've been drinking with the season.
Coming into Virgo season, you're gonna kind of cut that down a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Think about your health a bit more.
And exercise as well. Exercising a bit and looking after, your nervous system, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. But I'm really big on that at the moment, just looking after my nervous system, because my anxiety it's heightened a little bit because Uranus is doing a number on my chart. So I've really looked into that. But but what's really good about the Virgo season is, like you mentioned, good for organizing yourself, decluttering, working, cleansing your workspace, not just home, your workspace as well, even your community. I mean, if you're that type of person, what can you do out in the community that can really kind of take away all the rubbish that's no longer necessary and just make the space for you and your neighbors just a better place to be in.
And the health wise as well, because Virgos are natural warriors. So that's the
anxiety in the gut. You're right. Yeah.
All of that worry and all of those type of things, we really need to look after ourselves and kind of figure out why we worry and what's to worry about. Journaling's a good time for this Virgo season as well. Like, get your worries out, kind of figure out what's triggering you to kind of heal that kind of situation, especially as now where it's a retrograde as well for the whole of the Virgo season. So it's like re-examining yourself, re-examining your health, re-examining what you're eating.
Exactly. So, and the negative traits is the anxiety, because the anxiety is actually centered around trying to achieve perfection, which we mentioned earlier about perfection, and having a tendency to be self-critical. Because Virgo energy is so critical, it will self-criticize and cause anxiety because there's no perfection, or they don't see perfection in what it is they're trying to achieve.
And what is perfection?
And what is perfection?
I have no idea.
Do you find actually as a Virgo you're always striving for that? Because
yes, I always want everything to look pretty, look good.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, how far do you take it?
Yeah.
It's like, so at some point you've got to say, okay, this is it. So I do that with myself. I say, okay, I'm wearing this, I'm getting dressed, okay, that looks good, fine, let's go. Otherwise you'll be inside trying to never ever get out because this don't look great, this don't, no.
Yeah, and that's the nitpicking. That's the nitpicking, and but actually you're very high functioning anxious energy, or Virgo is anyway. It's very high functioning,
and we could be people pleasers as well, which is not good.
That's
not good for yourself, like always trying to please people, going this way, going that way, and never really pleasing yourself. So that will come with like a bit anxiety or worry. You know, trying to make sure you say the right things
and again trying to find perfection in that. That's a lot of pressure, and I feel like, you know, Pisces, we know, is the opposite sign. So for me, I look for perfection as well, but it's much more abstract. It's much more like, can we all just be together and love and heal, and you know, and it's like that's kind of like, okay, I can maybe achieve that in some capacity, but I can't control everybody. Maybe not everybody's ready to have that level of spiritual intimacy, you know. So sometimes, I don't know, to strive so high for something can create anxiety. But we've both found a channel, because for me, I guess I'm seeking perfection through astrology and being able to speak it and share it. There's a platform for us to be able to find, I don't know, a healing space, because Virgo is healing.
Exactly, and we're opposites. So we work together really well, and we bounce off each other. I think there's that initial energy that we bounce off each other, and it works. What I lack, you have, so I can take from you. And what you lack, I have, so you can take from me. So we just learn.
So we kind of find a way. We found a way to fuse our need for perfection using opposite traits of one another. But I suppose there's ways.
From each other.
Exactly. There's ways to kind of like strive for perfection, but not necessarily getting it. But again, it's that anxious kind of stressful. Those are the factors that we might experience during the Virgo season, but we can work through them by just knowing how to kind of, I don't know, place ourselves in the world to help reduce the stresses. But and
I'm someone that analyzes everything, so anything that
to me that sounds exhausting.
It can be, but you can turn that into intuition. So I'm very intuitive.
Yes.
And I'm intuitive by looking, but also sound. So the way someone says something, does it sound up or down? And I can pick up on how people feel just by the way that they say something. I just learned that over time, being able to be accurate. I don't necessarily say, but I know within myself, okay, that didn't go down well. You're not feeling really comfortable with that. That didn't, you're not sure about that. You know, I can pick it up quite well. So with that, being able to analyze, I've turned that into intuitive. And information that feeds your environment, feeds you based on the environment that you're in. Very, very practical, very earthy. Okay, I'm with you. And a non-judgment also. I mean, I guess with Virgos, trying to be perfectionist, that could lead to judgment.
That's a negative trait.
So then, you know, I'm doing the counselling, so I've really learnt to be non-judgmental. Just allowing people to be who they want to be and accept it for that. There's nothing else to do. I mean, obviously, if there's something that you don't like or don't want to do, you don't necessarily have to be a part of that, but it doesn't mean there's a judgment. You just allow people to be, because their path is their path and yours is yours. And knowing the kind of the shadow side of your sign and watching it when it comes up, you can see, okay, that's a shadow side of me. Turn that voice off in your head. Very good observational, self-observational skills, which I think Virgo people have, because again, that goes back to being able to produce things to its best quality. Exactly. And you are your first, like the quote said, you know, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside waits. And if you can analyze everything, then shouldn't you be the first person that you analyze? As yourself.
I love that quote, you know.
I know.
Thank you for repeating it, because I really I really soaked that in. That is
you know, if you're overly critical, okay, you're going to be overly critical about yourself, but that's not good. You've got to relax and say, this is the best, this is what I'm doing my best right now, this is how it is, you know, and just accepting who you are.
And your critique as well could be projected on other people, and it's like, at what point do we decide to check ourselves? If we just make that a natural kind of practice, it's much more, I suppose it saves our relationships, and it's much more healthy for ourselves, and we can grow grow in that way.
Yeah, and there's different types of critiquing people. There's constructive criticism, but people don't need to be critiqued on every single area of sometimes it's just like,
it becomes a nuisance. Yeah, and I suppose that's where Virgo can have trouble with that. It's just, when do you learn to just let people just be, or let things be? Like, listen, I've done what I can with this project. There's no more I can do.
Exactly.
Let it go, rather than obsess about it. But anyways, I think now would be a good point to talk about Beyonce and MJ, and obviously we've chosen these two beautiful, amazing, talented, royal people.
Because they're my favourite artists.
They're favourite.
And they're both Virgos. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
No, actually, that's the truth. There's only two great.
There's only two greats. Well, it wasn't even an argument, was it? Like, who are we going to talk about? Beyonce was obviously a standard. MJ was obviously a standard. Male, female, beautiful, works out. So, in terms of Beyonce, she's obviously a Virgo. She's got her sun in Virgo. I think the argument is with this chart is we don't know what ascendant she is. At this point in time, that's irrelevant. But I would like to know whether she's actually a Libra ascendant or Scorpio ascendant.
I think she's Libra. The time I looked on two different sites, AstroLOVE, they had her at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
So it's got her as Libra, but I don't know.
Yeah.
What did you have, Scorpio?
I think I used the Libra one. Oh, no, hold on. Yeah, I used the Libra one.
Okay.
And the reason why I went with that one is just because she does kind of like exude a lot of Venusian energy.
Exactly.
But at the same time, like, I wouldn't be surprised if she was Scorpio rising either. She's just got strong instincts and intuitions, just in the way that she moves, like, and the way she kind of engages crowds and the way she performs. I wouldn't be surprised. Also, her ability to just attract, but Venus could be that. Anyways, that's not the point here though. The point is that she's sun in Virgo.
We're using whole sign, just so everyone knows. So her sun in Virgo is in the 12th house with whole sign.
Yeah. I've got Placidus here, so yeah, I'll let you use whole sign. And also she's got moon in Scorpio, so she's got moon in a water sign, a fixed sign. So Virgo, by the way, is a mutable sign, meaning that the mode of that sign is very adaptable, it's movable, it's flexible. It can Beyonce or people with strong mutable signs in their charts, or mutable in their charts, are very flexible in nature. They can just, whatever environment they're in, they can really make themselves work well in that environment.
Exactly, and that's why they're both so great singing, dancing,
versatile.
Writing. They've done so many different things out of music as well, so it just naturally works for them. They
can do various things and very skilled. They're very skilled in what they do, and that's again the Virgo. The perfection. There's a lot of skill in their craft. She's got moon in Scorpio, so Scorpio is a water sign. It's a fixed sign, so when she gets her mind or her emotions, her feelings into something, it's fixed, and she's able to really, I suppose, bring out whatever she's trying to produce and manifest it. With the Virgo and the Scorpio, that's for me a signification of being able to manifest your dreams, your thoughts, your feelings, who you are.
It's the earth and the water that really works so well together.
Yeah.
If you look at MJ's chart, where he's got his sun in and actually with Beyonce, she's got her sun's in the 12th house, so it's that house of self-sacrifice, giving to others. She's really famous, or she makes a lot of money, but then she can't really go out.
No, exactly. She belongs to the world. That's the 12th house, isn't it? It's that self-sacrificing, because it's the sun. The sun is about I am, us as individuals. It's our sole purpose. In the 12th house, she doesn't belong to herself. She belongs to the world.
But with MJ, his son's, I believe this is correct. His son's in whole sign. His son's on the first house, so it's a Virgo ascendant, but he does have Mercury and Venus in his 12th house. So there's that kind of self-sacrifice of himself as well. I think you find a lot of artists have 12th house placements.
Yeah, I agree. And also, sorry, I didn't think of this until now, because my chart, I've got a different ascendant. I don't know if this is the right time, but my chart, now that you said the Venus is in the 12th, that just goes to show how mysterious his love life was. Like, we didn't get it.
The only person I think he was I knew he was with was Lisa Marie Presley.
Yeah.
And then there was that one of the children's mums. I think, is it
that
Blanket?
lady?
I don't even know which child it was, but
yeah.
there was that lady. But apart from that, you never knew. And then we didn't really know, was he with her? Was he not?
I just remember what she looks like. She a white lady with like blondish brownie hair, long, and us being told so all of a sudden she was pregnant or something. But I remember the Lisa Marie marriage as well. That broke down. But the 12th house is we're going to talk about that later. But it's a water house and it's a mysterious house. Yeah. So to have Venus there, the planet of love, makes it very elusive. Like, what kind of relationship did they have? What kind of love?
They didn't know anything about their relationship.
Yeah.
Didn't know. People were like, is it true? Did it really happen?
Yeah.
Has he really had a girlfriend? Did he lose his virginity? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, no one really knows.
And to this day, like, we've watched countless documentaries and we still don't get it. There's still no real answer. It's all like, hearsay almost.
Yeah, and with that, Mercury for Michael Jackson, Mercury in the 12th, his voice was very high pitched, but that wasn't his real voice. His real voice was quite deep. So then that's a part of himself that we never really got to hear.
No, or hear. You're right.
He had to preserve his voice.
Yeah.
Even Beyonce or Mariah Carey shouldn't talk a lot. Should speak high pitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
It didn't matter, but they to preserve their voice, they need to speak high pitched and not speak a lot. So that's why he spoke like that. But I did hear there's some video going around where he talked in a deep voice. Like, is that his voice? So naturally he had a deep voice, but he was just able
to manipulate his voice. Okay, so that's to preserve the voice. Okay, and Beyonce strikes me as quite she's quite introverted, and I think that's a Virgo. And so is MJ. He strikes me as quite introverted as well. It's a Virgo trait, isn't it? But also that means she doesn't need to talk as much. Doesn't feel like she should, or whatever the case may be. I mean, we but she's got a distinguished voice, or distinct voice rather. So you can her voice, isn't it? But her Mercury is in Libra, which obviously explains the beautiful voice. Yeah. Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus is beauty. And also Libra is an air sign, so it's all connected to the voice, the head. But yeah, I feel like we've digressed a little bit. So yeah, both got suns in Virgos, both very skilled. And I think I just want to add one more thing. One of the reasons, what makes them great, because they are undeniably great, is the fact that they've got Jupiter, the planet of expansion and luck, and it's just a larger than life type of energy, is making an aspect to the Neptune. And Neptune is like, it's the higher octave of Venus, isn't it? Exactly. So, and it's you see that a lot in artists where they've got personal planets linked to Neptune. Neptune is a planet of arts and creativity, spirituality. Is very ethereal. Music, exactly. And so Beyonce has got like a sextile, so Jupiter is making a positive aspect to Neptune, really bringing out that kind of godlike ethereal energy where she's able to tap into the collective in such a deep and profound way. And MJ has the same, but it's a conjunction. Very powerful. You can't really touch that, in terms of creativity.
Exactly. Makes them got it. And with both of them, they're great manifestors. So if you ever listen to the videos, Beyonce will talk about, she sees it before it happens. Like when she's on the big stage and she's got a performance maybe at the MTV Awards, she'll see what's happening. She'll see all hear the sounds, how it happens. And then that visualization turns into a reality. And Michael Jackson himself, at the age of 21, he wrote a manifesto, and in 1979 he had a mission statement of what he wanted to become. And it read, MJ will be my new name, no more Michael Jackson. I want a whole new character, a whole new look. I should be a totally different person. People should never think of me as the kid who sang ABC or I Want You Back. I should be new, incredible, actor, singer, dancer that will shock the world. I will do no interviews. I will be magic. I will be a perfectionist, a researcher, a trainer, a masterer, I will be better than every great actor wrote into one. And I think that is basically him. He was a master of disguise.
Listen.
Even his face changed.
Yeah.
You know, all that plastic surgery.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
You know, he played, it was like he played different characters.
Yeah.
All through the years.
That's the Neptune. Jupiter making that conjunction with Neptune, that for me was all of that. That ability to kind of change, like a chameleon, like change colors, change identity, like so smoothly, like, and he said magic as well.
Yeah,
and Neptune is magic.
Like, was he an astrologer? Because you know, I will be a perfectionist. That is the Virgo quality as well. A researcher, you know,
Virgo,
a trainer, like teaching. You know, he knew, he created his own dance moves. You know, his music, everything. Yeah, he was. So that kind of, when I saw that, I said, you know what, that definitely.
Well done for finding that. That's awesome.
That's good.
But
the power of social media, you know.
And also the power of Virgo. You researched that and you found it.
It's true. It comes to me, innit? If you look, you should find.
If you look, you should find.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing. So earlier I mentioned that Beyonce had Moon in Scorpio, and that Moon Scorpio alongside the Sun in Virgo, great for manifesting. But so that's a Moon in the water sign.
Yeah.
But MJ also had Sun in Virgo and Moon in Pisces. So Pisces is it's ruled by Jupiter and Neptune. So very creative, very sensitive, so able to tap into the nuanced energies of life and really bring into dreams. Like maybe he worked with his dreams in order to then manifest, create songs and dance moves or whatever.
For sure, he's very in touch with his inner child.
Yeah.
He has a childlike personality. He's very into, well, as we know, he
very
really
into
liked,
children.
Yeah, he liked the child aspect of himself and probably got along with children a lot more, whether or not.
There was an innocence about him, isn't it?
Yeah, and even with Beyonce's Moon, you know, she had that alter ego, Sasha Fierce.
Yeah.
She talks about, you know, she used someone else.
Yeah.
When she came on stage.
She evokes an energy.
When she was new, she used Sasha Fierce as her person to come out of herself.
Her alter ego.
I don't know if she still, I haven't heard that name anymore or whether she still uses it, but she also, so that's.
But I think if she was to bring it, exactly, but I think if she was to bring that up now, people would jump on that and, you know. Yeah, and
Beyonce had something else as well. So when she was 16.
Oh, she's got one too?
Yeah, she's got one.
Okay.
She, her plan in the future was to get her own record company, to have her own production company and manage like my dad, and she is doing that.
Oh, yeah.
She has Parkwood Entertainment. She has her own production company that manages herself. So that's what she uses for her management company. She has artists like Chloe Bailey and that other girl, the one that does the
Hailey
mermaid thing, signed to her label, and she released Beyonce and Lemonade albums under Parkwood Entertainment, and
I wonder what Parkwood stands for, like what
she's
relevance
got
it has.
Ivy Park. I can't remember. I think she said something about the park. I can't remember. But I can't remember something about park.
But park, anyways, is earthy.
Yeah, it is.
Wood is earthy.
Wood's earthy.
That's Virgo for me.
Somewhere where you get creative, have fun.
Exactly. Be with nature and be
Yeah.
practical. Okay, that's really awesome. But yeah, so even though they have different charts, they were born in different times or whatever, they've got very similar significations in their charts that really we can really see why they are who they are.
Yeah, and I guess, you know, with that, looking at their two, I mean, it's only two charts, but seeing, you know, are the best, you know, the ones that are top of their game, that are really like Beyonce and Michael Jackson. Is it the earth and the water, or those two polar signs that kind of enable them to be so great, having that earth and water? So I mean, maybe something to look into in the future. But I guess when we think about two great artists now, even though Michael's gone, there's no he's
someone's yet to dethrone him.
No,
you know.
I mean, I guess with Beyonce, she's got queen level because
she's worked for it.
She's put in the work.
You can't deny that.
Known as the queen of pop, like Michael's the king, Madonna's the queen, but Beyonce has just pushed herself up there with her work, her dedication to her craft. So,
and there's just respect for it. Like,
exactly.
you cannot deny that she's got it. She's got it. All right, are we moving on? Okay, we're moving on. Okay, well, we're sticking to the Virgo topic because, listen, Virgo retrograde is nigh. It's nigh. All right, so we mentioned that Virgo season starts on the 23rd. You also mentioned that Virgo retrograde starts on that day.
Yeah.
So, just to quickly recap, Virgo is to do with work, jobs, tasks, and small projects. And so, we'll find during Virgo season that maybe we're working more. We have, I mean, where I work, I have caseloads. So it could be that my caseloads become more intense during the retrograde as well, or in particular. And that I might struggle to relax or find room for me time, I guess. But yeah, this is definitely a time to start working towards balancing work and relaxation. Yeah. Because retrogrades is about redoing and revising and going back on things. But because the retrograde is ruled by Mercury retrograde is in its own sign, so Mercury is in Virgo, that will make it particularly tough. Yeah. Because Mercury is in its own sign. So we've had retrogrades in the past, obviously, but in its own sign makes the fact that we have to redo and go over and reassess a little bit more intense.
Exactly. And as I'm a Virgo, I am definitely following the rules of Mercury retrograde. Yeah,
we have to, because it's going to increase stress, and stress obviously has an impact on our nervous system, and Mercury rules the nervous system. So we might find actually during the retrograde, let me tell you the dates. What's the dates? So he's going retrograde on the 23rd until the 15th of September, but we're not talking about a pre-shade and a post-shade.
Yeah, so the post-shade I think it's like to the end of September.
Yeah.
So that will continue until the end of September.
Yeah. Even like the 1st of October.
Yeah.
I believe. But yeah, so from the 23rd of August to the 30th of September, we will be experiencing perhaps some delays in our travels, maybe our cars malfunction because Mercury rules cars. We might have issues with emails, issues with colleagues, issues with health because Virgo rules health. Yeah. So this is really a good time to, like we said,
evaluate how we eat. How we work. Maybe the way that we work is not good, so you need to evaluate how you organize your time.
Yeah, time.
So it's time to just really look over how we do things for ourselves and kind of think, is there a better way using this retrograde energy to find new ways of doing things better.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got there's Saturn's retrograde as well, and Saturn is to do with discipline and providing structure and order in your life, and also authority. Like it might be that the structure and order comes through an authority figure in your life, or you might find that you need to be much more authoritative in your life. Either way, it's about slowing down. And I think the retrograde is really going to reinforce that. Slow down, take your time, have patience. Don't expect what you are planting in your new moon Leo ritual to just flourish, during the retrograde. It's going to take time, although we'll start seeing some signs of it. Is it 2 weeks after the actual ritual? 2 weeks after
6 months,
and then you'll see the actual manifestation in 6 months. Yeah. So slow down, just be mindful that there will be some stress, but this is about self-care.
It definitely is. And I think with all the retrogrades, Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, Venus, it's another retrograde, something else is going retrograde.
Uranus is retrograde, Pluto is retrograde, Jupiter will go retrograde in September.
But this is the season for retrograde, so it's telling us slow down.
So
everything that you're doing, it's time to reanalyze everything that you're doing, every department.
It's literally every aspect of life, isn't it?
So
it's your philosophies.
Everything, just even the way astrology, the way you practice, the way you read, the way, just look over. So I even looked up the word, because with the retrogrades, it's like, I guess the word you think of is reevaluate, redo, reassess, all of that stuff. So I looked at some of the words and I saw read. And I said it's got re at the front. So I looked at, the meaning, and it was to assess, to counsel, and I'm thinking, okay, so read is to counsel, to assess things. It's also linked to the word riddle. So it's about figuring things out. And
again, Virgo, Mercury,
this is
Virgo.
the season, the retrograde, to figure things out, to assess what's going on, to seek possible counsel during this time as well. To find out, like, how can you do something better? Maybe you're someone that doesn't ask people their opinion or ask for help. Maybe this is the time where you need to, because with all these retrogrades happening one after the other at the same time as well.
Yeah, and with the Virgo season, people will be more than willing to help, to be of service. So allow yourself to ask for help, because it's everywhere.
Virgos love to help. So if you know any Virgos,
even if it's just a listening ear.
Exactly. Yeah, reach out to a Virgo.
Yeah, reach out to a Virgo. Well, I got my Virgo.
Yeah.
So we've got that going on. What else did I want to say? Also, if you've got Mercury retrograde in your chart or in your solar return, you're not going to feel it that much. People who naturally have it in their charts, Mercury retrograde doesn't hit.
It's their time.
They love it. They actually function better, because it's almost like they're destined to work a little bit reflectively, backwards in a way. We did explain in our last podcast what retrogrades are, by the way, but just to recap on that real quick, retrogrades are when planets appear to be going backwards in the heavens. So when that happens, when that takes place, for example, Mercury goes backwards 3 to 4 times a year, it has an impact on how we live our day-to-day lives. So do have some tips. I have a tip around how to calm the nervous system during the Virgo retrograde and all the other retrogrades. And that's working with your vagus nerve, which is an important part of the body's nervous system. And Mercury, like I said earlier, rules the nervous system. So the vagus nerve actually starts in the brain, and it goes to different places like the heart and the stomach. And we mentioned the stomach earlier. So it really helps to control things like the heart rate, the digestion, the breathing. So for me, breathing is crucial. I'm not good at taking breaths. The only time I take breaths, like deep, meaningful breaths, is during yoga, and I need to work on my yoga and the frequency.
Meditation. Maybe you need to lunar sooner breathing. That's in the nose, out the mouth.
Yeah.
And do one nostril at a time. So there's different ways. Do a little research on that. See which is compatible for you. Maybe that's something you need to implement in your life. And
I need to. But what I've started to do is the 4-7-8 breathing. So you breathe in for 4, hold for 7, out for 8, and trust me, that is profound. That works for me. But like I said, meditation, yoga, that all helps us kind of keep relaxed and calm. And also the breathing, you don't have to do in a set time and place. You can do it whenever. Washing up, when you remember. Another thing is eating foods rich in magnesium, or taking supplements with magnesium. That's good for the nervous system, good for the brain. Fish oil, salmon, and things like that. But also on a practical level as well, staying organized. Like you said, ask for help, delegate. And don't take on too much, because naturally we're going to have more stress anyways. So how can we keep that organized and not do too much to the point where we're just overwhelmed with life? That's the energy that's coming for us in terms of the Virgo stuff, but this is how also we can deal with it practically. So any more for Virgo retrograde?
I think we touched on it. I think the main thing is like looking after our health.
I'm big on that one.
Self-care during this time, and don't be too hard on yourself, and just, if it's not working out, then it means just slow down. Let it go down.
So we spoke about Venus retrograde in Leo in our last podcast, so we're not going to talk about it too much, but I just wanted to say in terms of the reason why I guess it's important for me is because I'm consciously working on how I can better myself in a relationship. just because of the lessons that I've had in the past. So my partner is so patient with me, so I'm really grateful for that. But one of the things that I've been doing is reading a book on love, and I wish I had it with me. I don't have it with me, so I don't have. But it's written by Dr. Goffman and his wife, which is really lovely because they're in a relationship, and they're both psychologists, and they've got this lab called the Love Lab. I think it's in Florida. So they took like many years to kind of like research Virgo, research and love and relationships, and how to kind of, I suppose, help a couple fix their issues when it's to the point where it's almost breakable. There's not much you can do. Anyways, so it was actually recommended to me by another astrologer, Alicia Youssef. Shout out to Alicia Youssef. She's my friend. She's so lovely. But she's a counselor as well. And she was like, oh, I'm reading this book, read this book. And I started to read it. And it's so silly. It's really silly, but it's like it's got these tips, like these really simple tips that I'm just like, oh, I didn't think of that. Because, okay, let me just go back really quickly. I can be very self-centered in a relationship because I'm so used to, I'm just very independent, whereas my partner, Leo Moon, whereas my partner, who's also Leo Moon, but he's got Libra descendant, he's better at collaborating and partnering up and just thinking in that way, whereas me, I'm just like, follow me. Which isn't particularly healthy. So I'm working on how I could be much more collaborative, and I suppose it's a great time to do that during the Venus retrograde. And I've really allowed myself to kind of like, I don't know, dive into that and observe it. And sometimes my partner will be like, he'll make a comment and be like, oh, did you get that from the book? I'll be like, yeah.
He knows you too well.
But I think he appreciates me for it because it's like, you know, I'm learning and I'm trying and I'm seeing the benefits of it. So it's really cool. So I don't know, that's my Venus retrograde kind of experience. But we also spoke earlier about how for you had friendships come back.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah, I had just one day, I can't remember which day it was, but I was like on the bus and I was standing up, I was listening to these two boys. And I went to sit down and I looked at the boy and I thought, oh, last time I saw him must have been about 8 or 9. This is a big boy now, he's on his own.
8. Sorry, that's the Venus cycle, 8.
Oh,
so the last time you saw you must be 8.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
And then now he must be like 15, 16.
Yeah.
And he was so tall. I was like, hold on, this looks like a boy, my friend's son. I look, it is him. Then further down on the bus, I saw this lady that I haven't seen in a year, but like she was walking.
Yeah.
And I'm like on the bus, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember her. Then I get to Shepherd's Bush and I bump into Jania. Shout out to Jania.
Shout out to Jania.
I haven't seen her in ages and we were talking for ages. Yeah, for a good hour just talking. I was like, this day is so crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
all in one day. Was that Friday by any chance?
Was it a Friday? It was. Let me tell you. No, it wasn't. You know what day it was?
What day?
Wednesday.
Oh, Mercury Day.
Yeah, it's a Wednesday.
Interesting.
It was a Wednesday because I had to look. I was going to a wedding. I need to get a pair of trousers for my son, even though you're not supposed to buy something new, but you can't help.
Yeah.
When things come up.
Exactly.
So that was the Wednesday, and then on the Friday? No, Thursday. Another friend called me, and I didn't pick up her call that day.
Yeah.
But I ended up speaking to her on the Saturday. And she's a Virgo. She's like 9 days after me, her birthday. Yeah. And she came in like with this opportunity, like, and to do with like insurance. I was like, yeah, that's an £8 thing going
that
on there.
Really is.
Yeah. So she came back. I haven't spoken to her in a long time, but we were talking. Yeah, it's just crazy. Like, people that I've been thinking about as well. Like, oh, I need to get in touch with this person. That person has just come up.
Oh, sorry, we just had a glitch. I don't know what just happened there, but you said you need to get in touch with that person.
Yeah, so it was, I was just thinking I need to get in touch with this person, or I've been thinking about this person. And during the Venus retrograde, they've all come up. I've seen them, I've spoken to. So yeah, it's been really, really good.
Because Venus is very social, isn't she?
Yeah.
So she likes to connect with people. But I've had a couple of things like that as well, where I've had link-ups with old friends, but your ones, so all in one day, back to back.
All in one day, exactly.
That sounds crazy. But yeah, so that was my Venus retrograde little story I wanted to share with you guys, because we're all working on something, innit?
Exactly.
So it's really cool to work and knowingly you're working on something during a very good auspicious time to do it in. Like, for example, Venus retrograde is about going back. How can I, in terms of love, how can I go back in my, love situation, for example? Is it for me even? If it's not working, what can I do to make it better? Da, 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 da. So retrogrades are good.
Exactly, and analysing, looking over how the planetary alignments are actually influencing your life. Like, it's a Venus retrograde, what's happened to you during this retrograde, or that retrograde, or this alignment, what's happened. So this is it's all fun time. It's a great time to be alive. These past few years that we've gone through some terrible and kind of great experiences at the same time. Something that's
different. It's that Uranus Aquarius age type energy. Like, we just don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow.
We don't know what's gonna happen.
And that, even though that can be anxiety provoking, there's an excitement, an exciting kind of energy to that as well. It's just like, and that's such an Aquarius type of vibe.
Exactly. So we've all, everyone's changed, no matter how they know, since being through that COVID kind of period. You've changed. There's been a lot of changes that have happened in your life, and things that you've had to, most people, hopefully a lot of people use that as an opportunity to change things for the better. So that's when I started my counselling journey. So that's a big impact for me.
You've got one more year to go.
Yeah, and then that's me.
And then that's you.
So, should we move on to the water signs?
Yes, please, girl. We've got like maybe another 8 minutes at most, if we could try and squeeze that in.
That's always us.
I know.
And I've got a whole load of notes to go with my water. Maybe we'll go over by a couple of minutes. See how that works. But so I started off. We wanted to talk about like the water houses, and we've kind of like talked about them through MJ and Beyonce.
Yeah, we did. We touched on it.
We touched on, they got the water moons, and how, the water, what's needed. And the water is a symbol of purity and wisdom. It allows our bodies to function. We need water to enable us to, we'll die without it. After a certain amount of time. We can't live long without water. We can live longer without food. No, we can live longer without water than food. So, we need it. It's like a power. It's transformative, and it's something that heals the soul and nourishes the body and awakens the spirit. So water is so powerful and majestic, and just thinking about, maybe you think, when I go home I just want to lay in the bath and light a candle, and that experience and how it feels, and how it can, that having a simple bath can actually uplift you. So that's to show you like the power of the water. And even around the world, water is a symbol of healing and energy and God. Yeah, exactly. Bath, and to baptize and to renew is
it's like the connection.
There's a strong connection with water and energy and
spirituality.
Exactly. And water that we drink, like from the springs or the volcanoes, and all that has different types of energy that it brings. And people, in different cultures, that water has the ability to absolve prayers. Like, if you look in the fountains, people throw money for good luck and stuff like that into the water, because and water is to hold memory. So if that's the case, water holds memory, and we are, like, as humans, 70% water, then what are the memories we're holding? And how good are those memories? If you're not in a good place right now, maybe it's those memories that you've got, and you somehow need to change your water.
Change your water. And how do we do that?
Food diet, detox, the gut flora, memory, mindset,
the words that we speak,
therapy. For some things may need, other than your self-journaling, may need some deep work, and change how you think about something. So it's about our thoughts as well, and just owning our own spiritual power. And the elements of the water is diverse, so it's life, purity, renewal, reconciliation, but it's also chaos and destruction. So it makes me think about the tsunami, going to Thailand. I went to Thailand like 2 days after the tsunami hit.
Oh.
So I was able to see
the damage
that to people, because I didn't go to any of the islands, because one of the islands I was meant to go to Phuket, that got destroyed, so I never got to go there. So I was able to see the aftermath of people that were hurt by that. So there's a very as lovely as it looks, there's the two sides to the water, and that kind of not knowing there's a depth that can be actually quite scary going into the ocean. Going into swimming pools one thing, but when you're in a deep ocean, you can't see what's at the bottom of that, and all I can think about is Jaws or something. You know what I mean? Something crazy.
It's true with the ocean. No man has ever been able to touch the floor of the ocean, because it gets to a point where you just cannot access it, and that's pure mystery.
And what happened with that
submarine? It reached.
Don't play with the ocean.
Don't play with the ocean. It's true.
Yeah. And water is said, water's alive and holds spirit, and it's sacred. And there's a whole thing with water in the Bible, and there's a lot more. But as time is going, with my kind of
your breakdown.
Energy, my breakdown, it was a little bit deeper, but I think what we'll do is just go straight into the waterhouse. So that kind of gives a little taste.
But that's good. That was good.
Where the water, where it's coming from. And
so in terms of astrology,
among these, so there's a mystical realm. The 12 houses represent areas of human life and experiences, and among these is the water houses. So they have a strong significance in our lives. It delves into the depths of our emotions, intuition, and spirituality. So the houses are the 4th, 8th, and 12th.
Yeah.
So we kind of did talk about a little bit about 12th with Beyonce and about MJ and their association element with the water houses and sensitivity and introspection. And the 4th house is usually, so let's begin with the 4th house. So it's usually the house of home, and it's kind of like a foundation.
Yeah.
Representing our roots, family dynamics, and our sense of security. So, and it's usually equated to the father.
Yeah.
But
it's debatable.
Because Liz Greenston, who's an extraordinary astrologer, has done work on this, and she found from her client work and her own personal research that her clients referred to the mother with more to the 4th.
Yeah.
So I guess with this we can kind of look at it as the parents, the 4th.
Yeah, exactly.
Just look at it a bigger picture rather than just say, it's the
mum or the dad. Yeah.
So we can look at it as the parents. So in exploring the 4th house, symbolizing our roots and importance and understanding of representing our childhood and our memories and ancestral lineage, and kind of like, it's kind of like the house that kind of shapes as a child how we go on into adulthood.
Yeah.
Because we take on all what we've learned from home into our adult life, whether that's good, not so good, the ugly.
Yeah.
So it's very much a house of what's happened. Foundation. Yeah. What's happened in our childhood is gonna bring us to the forefront now into adulthood.
Yeah.
And I was watching something the other day, and they said the best entrepreneurs, the go-getters, had a little bit of trauma in their life. Yeah. But this trauma can't be anything that enabled them to be addicted to anything, whether it's alcohol. It can't be that bad. It's just got to be that trauma where.
What, home trauma?
Trauma, yeah, from like something that's happened in their childhood that enables them to want to be successful. For someone to say that's really good, so they feel worthy, and they're saying that's the level where you go out and be really, really successful. They've done, and someone's done some research on that. And that's
interesting.
What they found. So from that, it's really interesting to know that. But obviously, it can't be anything that's long-lived, like alcoholic or anything that you use to get over your trauma. So with the 4th house, how did you think your kind of home life, kind of the foundation to your adulthood, as much as you want to share, because that's a big...
It's a huge topic.
That's a huge topic. We don't have time, but I will start. I would say...
Yeah, go on.
With something really, really quick and easy. My mum was like Catholic, so very church-going orientated, and I didn't really get with that. But my dad was anti-religion, so he's more into the metaphysical stuff,
which is more
and
you.
music, and I love music. So I got that kind of foundation from my dad, like that path. But obviously, I got to know the religious side through my mum, which I still appreciate. I don't go to church, but
it's a perspective.
Yeah, I still read upon, look on. As I mentioned before, death and rebirth. I look at the Bible in more of a more metaphysical way now, rather than just reading what happened, Jesus went, and exactly what does it represent. So I guess for me, that's my 4th house kind of
experience.
Some of my foundations, a bit about the foundation of my adult, what I brought into my adult life that I can definitely see came from my dad. Have you got anything like?
Yeah. So, what was your 4th house ruled by? What sign?
So my 4th house is ruled by Taurus.
Taurus. Okay. So mine's Libra. So you had a very earthy home situation. I don't know where your Venus is. Oh, your Venus is in Virgo. So very earthy. For me, it's ruled by Libra. I'm trying to think. I don't know.
To be fair, my Taurus rules Placidus, and in whole sign it's Aries.
Oh, it's Aries. Oh, okay. So fiery. So both fiery and earth. But if we go with whole sign is fiery. Okay.
And my mum's an Aries, so I guess that kind of goes with the 4th house.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was very, very volatile, I would say. My Venus is in the 9th house, and the 9th house rules foreign land. So when I was younger, we migrated from France to here, and it was my dad who led that whole process.
And what sign is it ruled by?
Libra. So there was definitely a lot of movement. Also, but I've got Pluto there, so there was so much transformation that took place. So it's hard to say it was like a very Venusian experience, because Pluto kind of like, I don't know, took over, man. So without going too deep, there was a lot of change, a lot of movement, changing of houses, changing of schools. That was definitely my initial kind of experience, but I had a fairly good childhood. The changing of schools and stuff didn't affect my self-esteem or confidence. I had best friends very quickly. I learned the language very quickly. So, and I suppose that's the airiness of my 4th house as well.
And you had your sister.
I had my sister. Yeah, we were both doing it together. We were both best friends, although enemies at the same time. But you know what siblings are like. But yeah. Anyways, so that was my 4th house experience.
Okay.
And then 8th.
Yeah. So the 8th house. So that's associated with deep transformation, shared resources, intimate connections, and it kind of symbolizes the Scorpio element of the water house. And it delves into some of the mysteries of life, the occult, where, both of us have got a big, if I'm looking at Placidus, my 8th house is
it's full.
Huge.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here. That's where your sun goes, right?
Yeah,
your sun and
moon. If I'm using Placidus, I generally use whole sign now, but as we're talking, so the 8th house there, and it's like transformation, death and rebirth, so it's part of ourselves. I guess when I think about my life and the death and rebirth, so I don't necessarily look at the 8th house as death, as that's it, like an end, like the ultimate death.
Yeah,
that is the place of the ultimate death, but within my life there are starts and endings, whether it's starting your degree, starting a new job. I've got I'm able to adapt to that quite easily. So I have a lot of contracts in work, so it starts and it ends. I change around a lot with jobs. I work one place this week and another place next week, and I'm really, people say, oh, don't you get sick of that? And I think, oh, actually, it's not that bad. Sometimes I don't mind staying in one place, but I think I'm used to that kind of up and down movement of the just starting something new again.
Regeneration. You need that regeneration.
And I'm able to adapt. I guess with all those planets, I've learnt to adapt.
Yeah.
And kind of take it on board with that kind of 8th house feel. And the 8th house can be quite heavy. It can be quite dark. And I guess it can be a scary house. And with that house, it's about moving on from the 7th house of kind of like you get with your partner, marriage. It's kind of like merging. Being able to
joint finances.
Joint finances.
Joint projects.
If you can't do that, if you can't let go of the ego. And flow, I guess that's where the relationship kind of breaks down. I think the death and the rebirth, it's a rebirth. The 8th house is a rebirth of yourself with someone else. But it's also can be the death or the ending of that rebirth with someone else if you don't mesh together. If one of you don't let go of this or let go of that and don't work together, because you're going to be with someone, that partner may want to invest in stocks. The other partner doesn't want to,
because they don't want to risk it.
They don't want to risk it. This partner wants the husband wants to send their child to a public school. The wife wants to send the child to a boarding school. One's religious, one's not. It's like this is where you find out some of the
8th house abilities,
the true deep down depths of what's going on with someone. Where using the 7th house, it might have been fun, a bit more fun, where you should have been really digging a bit deeper into someone that for some reason when people get married, things just turn out. Sometimes you meet someone, get married, and they've changed. Why is that? Why have they changed after the marriage? It's like, this is where I can show my true self now. I've got you in that 8th house. You're stuck in there with me. And the 8th house isn't comfortable for everybody as well. So in a relationship, if you're able to merge and work through the complexities of the 8th house, which, like you said, is to do with regeneration, death, loss, very uncomfortable and psychological situations. If you can't deal with that together, then that relationship will most likely break down. That's what I'm continuously working on. I'm always working on my 8th house stuff. And I think over the time, because now we're dealing with more like we dealt with childhood. Now it's almost like we're in our teenage years, or we're getting older. We're in the 8th house, and we're placed in situations that's uncomfortable and to do with the subconscious and the habits that we've kind of acquired over the years that may not be good for us. But and then we're sharing that with people, that with. It's time to purge. There's no hiding now.
There's no hiding.
You're sharing the same house, you're sharing the same bed. I guess that's why some people, you find some people who actually know themselves and they have 2 different houses. My stuff's too deep.
And that's why it's the house of sex.
Exactly.
And in French we call orgasms le petit mort, the little death. So it's all associated. Oh, we can get really into the nitty gritties of the 8th house.
But
Anyways,
so
interesting.
I guess with that's that's the 8th house. Something to think about, merging, shared resources.
And inheritance as well.
Inheritance, exactly.
So through death, one might inherit homes and money and whatnot.
And depending what planets and what's on the cusp. Will depend on the type of 8th house you will have. So the last water house is the 12th house. And this is a mysterious, enigmatic domain ruled by, I guess you could say, ruled by Neptune. Saturn works well there as well. He does. Associated with it's a water house, and it represents our subconscious mind, hidden fears, and spiritual growth. Often referred to as the house of self-undoing or confinement, and it's a place of great transformation. So it's a place where you can really, really transform yourself, and you've got the power there to do that. And it's a place of deep emotions, and a place where you can really go deep and explore yourself.
And this is a solo house. You can't really have anybody helping you through that. Almost spiritual journey of learning.
And it's also a place of, I guess it's the institutions, isn't it? Like, if you don't do the work there, or a little pigeon walking across.
Yeah.
If you don't do the work, you could end up in hospital.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a place of libraries.
Yeah. It's a place of confinement.
Confinement, exactly.
So like you said, if you don't do the work, you either end up in hospital or like in a prison, or if you do the work, you might volunteer yourself to go to an ashram. It's all about really going within yourself, isn't it?
Yeah.
And being in isolation.
And doing for others. It's
and
not
doing,
just about you. It's about, you know, what can you help support others. And when we talked about, is it Beyonce's chart, how her sun is in the 12th.
The 12th.
Is it hers? Yeah. Herself, 12th house. I think Madonna's got a big 12th house as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's about their music and how it helps people to heal, and love songs and all that stuff, and fun times and memories. This song reminds me of this person or that, and you know, being able to support other people, but at the same time they've lost something from it. Just being able to go out to
their
shop.
Privacy, their sense of like, you know, just autonomy. I guess we see a guise of who they are. We don't really see who they are, their actual characters. We see their personas, isn't it?
Yeah,
so they offer us their personas, but they have to merge into that every day. So that's who they are. That's who they become. So they lose themselves in that house.
And I guess the big stars, you see that more. They can't go nowhere without someone photographing them, and to a point where, you know, it probably plays with their mental health. Britney Spears, you know, all the things that have happened with her. She was like this rising star who could do no wrong, great dancer, singer, extremely popular, and then
and what about
this emotional breakdown where everyone...
and Whitney Houston as well. I feel like she went through her journey of just like superstardom, but the breakdown in the end, and the drugs, and
alcohol.
MJ as well to a degree.
He supposedly took a lot of drugs for his maybe anxiety and stuff like that. You find a lot of these stars.
And I do feel like that Jupiter conjunct his Neptune, because Neptune is also rules like drugs, also is associated with drugs and alcohol, because those substances help us link to something greater than ourselves. And I suppose that's the shadow way of getting there. He was connected to drugs in a lot of ways, wasn't he?
Yeah, people try and tell me, Beyonce's on drugs. I'm like, shit, where'd you get this information from? But with that Neptune,
sex stars, it's very likely that she is, but it's controlled. Maybe she organizes it better. And you got to think as well, she's in a relationship. It's very grounded, it's stable. There seems to be lots of stability there. She's got family and friends around her. She's got so much more privacy, whereas MJ was a bit more like, I feel like it's that moon in Pisces, much more open and vulnerable. I don't feel like Beyonce's got that. So it could...
and I guess he didn't have that kind of strong... Again, he had support, but I think the people that were around him were not like...
They took from him.
They took,
they
and
saw
then
opportunities.
His family kind of went further back.
And
then different people came around him, and then...
Perhaps more trauma for him than Beyonce had for herself.
Beyonce's got like proper family, cousins, her mum. You know, it began with her dad. You know,
strong
everyone
figure.
looking out for her best interests because they loved her. You know, that's their family. And obviously Michael had a kind of relationship that was strained, wasn't it? Strained relationship with his dad. It's more his mum.
Much more fractured.
But
12th house definitely can, you know, it's seen as the hardest house of all the houses in the zodiac because it's so it's the last one. It's where
it's where everything that you learn just gets poured into that house.
It's the dumping ground as well, isn't it?
The transformation, you go deep down, you either come out or you don't.
Or you don't.
You come out good or you come out not so good. I don't know, but
it's ruled by Pisces in this natural state. And actually we're going to talk about the full moon in Pisces. Am I moving into the full moon in Pisces?
Let's move in because we're coming out of time. And
we could talk all day. But interesting. The 12th house ruled by Pisces leads us into the full moon in Pisces that takes place at 7 degrees on the 31st of August at 2:35 a.m. GMT. Now we know that full moons are to do with completion, endings. They're associated with, you know, the ending of things. And Pisces also is associated with endings. So this feels like a great ending. It's like we've accumulated a ton of energy. It's time to kind of, it's coming into fruition now, and we're releasing it into the world. So Pisces is a very sensitive sign. It's a water sign. It's a mutable sign. So let's be mindful that there might be a lot of sensitivity. Our intuition is heightened at that time as well. And we're just in touch with the subtle changes in the world. We might experience a real increase of creativity. We might have a stronger desire to kind of connect with others, the divine, God, the abstract concepts, whatever. And we might do that through art and music and poetry and dancing, yoga, prayer. But we might also do that through drugs and alcohol, because as mentioned earlier, Jupiter, the ruler of Pisces, and Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, both are associated with drugs and alcohol and substance misuse. So
psychedelics, maybe.
Oh, psychedelics, mushrooms. I want to try mushrooms, still. But anyway, that's for another time. But anyways, so that, this is where we'll be tapping into the subconscious as well, and past experiences, because the moon is to do with the past. And it's about, we could probably use this for like recognizing our emotional baggage and releasing our emotional baggage, identifying patterns where things are holding us back, and then really addressing these issues and letting go during a Pisces full moon. So as always, we have a ritual for this. So you can do whatever you want, but you can definitely use this as well. So under the full moon, take a hot bath or warm bath. Epsom salt, I love Epsom salt. It's natural, but get into the bath with intention for cleansing the mind, the body, the spirit, cleansing your aura, your energy field. Have some candles. So colors for Pisces, you can use white, you can use purple. Would you use blue?
For Pisces,
water. Could do, but purple will probably be the best color. But yeah, if you don't have purple, definitely use white. Frankincense to cleanse your space. Use sounds. So Pisces is very much connected with music and creativity. So use sounds if you can.
Singing bowls is good.
Yeah, singing bowls.
Have that, we can use a bell.
Use a bell, or go on YouTube. Binaural beats, frequency sounds. Use guided meditation or any kind of audio that helps guided meditation. And use your favorite essential oils. Lavender oil's good. Relaxing.
And don't forget your crystals like selenite, moonstone, amethyst.
Amethyst is good. Yeah.
During this time, if you're into crystals.
Yeah. So that's it. Put some flowers, some flower petals in your bath if you're into all of that, and just create a sacred space for you that's connected to water. I think the full moon bath would be really good for that.
And as we talked about, like the water housing, I didn't mention, Dr. Emoto, and he always talked about, how the vibrational pattern of water, and with this ritual that you're going to be doing for this full moon, is speak the energy into the water. If you've got a bath, write down or speak, bless the water. What do you want from, what energy do you want the water to have? If you're going to use petals, maybe you can write on the petals, or have a crystal and charge it up and put the energy and put that into the water, or the Epsom salts. Charge it up with the vibration and the words that you want to use into your bath.
Good
so
tip.
That you can detox what you don't want and put in what you do want. Because as I said before, water holds memory.
Yes.
So it's the time to put in the good stuff that you want.
Yeah. And you know what? This is nice because this is actually dedicated for our full moon. This is for our full moon. Yes. This is our full moon podcast, and this is our contribution for that. We do have... Did I have an affirmation for that? No. But I would say actually for the full moon, maybe I am healing. I am worthy of my emotions, and I am open to connecting with God, the God that I am. I completely made that up, but that sounded good to me. Okay, so yeah, on that note, I think we're done. We went way over time, but...
when's the new moon in Virgo? I think that's the September the
new moon. Let's find out.
So is it the 14th?
I think it's more early.
Yeah, it's like the 14th of September.
Yeah.
So that's the new moon. Hopefully we may not, our podcast may come out after that.
Yeah.
So of the 14th. So just remember that there's a new moon coming up in Virgo. Time to plant your seeds of what you want to bring more into your life. Usually we say do your rituals like 2 days after the full moon, but that's up to you. And it's Virgo, so something earthy, practical, something that you want to perfect. Or what would you do on a Virgo moon? Me generally, I'll just meditate, I think, and be grounded. And
yeah, I would want to meditate, and I probably would want to do it if it's a warm day. Do it outside, do it on my balcony. Definitely barefoot. I'll make the intention to be barefoot.
Connect with the earth. Connect with
and have a smoothie.
the energy. Yeah,
I'll probably have a smoothie beforehand as well, just to add that practicality and health element to it.
Yeah, so just in case,
like an earthy smoothie.
Yeah, you don't hear from us before that, at least you can know that the next new moon is on the 14th of August in Virgo.
Sure, okay. Well, on that note, I think we're good to go. So don't forget to subscribe, like. Don't forget to go onto our Instagram and our TikTok. We've not been very good, but we're trying to improve our engagement on there. So it's AstroLOVE. Come to AstroLOVE and follow us there.
Yeah, AstroLOVE podcast.
Yeah.
Or it's AstroLOVE pod. I think the cast couldn't get.
Is it?
It was too long. But it's, you'll find us on AstroLOVE, and we need to actually start, because there's the podcast time runs out.
Yeah, it does.
Maybe we need to start doing more on our podcast and actually talking about some of the stuff that we do talk about.
Yeah,
here,
we do.
And then just
take it
else.
off. We're working on the structure, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, I think we're good.
Yeah. So we are out. I'm Angel Love.
And I'm Astro Queen.
Thank you for listening. It's been a pleasure today, and we will see you next time.
Peace.